Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Monday, March 23rd, 2020. I'd like to bring you said information out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and this is in relation to a triple homicide that took place a few weeks ago here in Knoxville. One of the ladies I knew of from recent years, and she and her roommate and her daughter were murdered, and the suspect has now been formally charged in those said crimes. If you need verification for the storyline, log on to Channel 10 News. Knoxville man now charged with murder and triple slaying. Desmond Rhea is being held in jail in lieu of $2 million bond. A Knoxville man now faces formal murder charges in the March 8th slayings of three women. Desmond Rhea, 24, was being held in Knox County custody in lieu of a $2 million bond. He's been in custody since hours after the killings. Rhea is accused in Knox County Criminal Court of first-degree murder in the deaths of Barbara Rogers, 57, 55-year-old Mildred Blackwell in the home they shared on Truesdale Road. Records suggest Rhea sometimes used that as an address as well as a nearby residence. He's also charged with killing Blackwell's daughter, 29-year-old Juliana White, was found shot to death on Division Street. Rhea, who has a prior arrest record for violence against women, also is charged in the 9-count indictment with aggravated child endangerment, using a gun during a felony, and the aggravated burglary of Rogers' home. Knoxville police have said Rhea and the victims knew each other but haven't released a motive. He has an April 15th court appearance. And that is the said information by Channel 10 News. Once again, my prayers and condolences to the families of Millie and her daughter Juliana and Miss Barbara Rogers. I'm praying for all of you, and God will bring you strength at this trying time. I just went through Facebook and found out that Millie had just recently lost a sister in February, I believe, or January. So that has to be a double whammy for their family, losing two relatives, sisters, 1 month apart from each other. But now for my commentary pertaining to this case. What I'd like to know is that what was the relation between Mr. Rhea and the victims? This article states that he used their address, so it leads me to wonder, do they mean that he stayed there on occasion, he once lived there, or did he use their address for legal purposes? Because we see he has a prior criminal record pertaining to violence against woman. So I'm wondering, did he just use that address, or he came through periodically to stay there? What was the deal? What was their relationship with Mr. Rhea? Was he dating Juliana? Because she was a few years older than he. She was 29, he's 24. It was mentioned 2 weeks or so ago that he was a father of her child or something. Someone has said that. I don't know if that's truth or not, but when I read the obituary, it states that Miss Juliana had a husband and two daughters. So I don't know if she was with her husband at the time of her death, separated. I do not know. I'm just repeating what I saw in the obituary, but it was mentioned that this Rhea guy could possibly have been a baby father. I don't know, because as I stated, she's a few years older than him, so I don't know the involvement between either victim and Mr. Rhea. But I am curious to know why he was using her address. Did he ever live there? How long he lived there? Or did he just use that house as an address for legal purposes or documentations for some reason? Did he steal anything? Because in this article they mentioned robbery, aggravated robbery. So what did he steal? What did he take from the said residence? Did he, hold them hostage inside the house to get whatever it is that he was wanting to get from the ladies? Because as you know, Millie and Barbara were the only two women found at that residence, deceased, and Millie's daughter, Juliana, was found at another location a few miles away on Division Street, laid out, deceased. So what's the correlation? What went on that night? Was Juliana at that residence with the ladies? And he made her get in a separate car, and then he disposed of her on Division Street. I was wondering and curious about that. Okay, whose child was endangered? Was there a child left behind at the residence with the deceased women, or was there a child in a car with Juliana when he dropped her off, disposed of her? I should say drop off, excuse me, because she's deceased, but you understand what I'm saying. Because she was found at another location not far from Western Avenue location, because the house is off Western Avenue, for those of you who are familiar with Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm wondering whose child was endangered. Where was the child at? Was there a child in his home when he murdered the two women? Or was there a child in a car with him when he murdered Juliana? I'm wondering about that. Or is there another child at a said location that he left behind somewhere at another residence to enact the crimes against these ladies? I don't know. They didn't stipulate. Okay. The second address that was mentioned in this article, because, you know, he was found at an address nearby that he was staying at. How long had he stayed at that residence? Who is the person that owns that home? How do they know Mr. Rhea? Are they friends, family? Is it a girlfriend, baby mama? Who is it? I'm very curious to know who the second home location is pertaining to this food. Okay. Imagine how they must be feeling, whoever this second home is, where he was found, and also use their address as well, as stipulated in this article. You must be feeling awfully lucky right now that Mr. Rhea didn't do the same to you, because we don't have a motive for why he murdered these three women, a mother, a daughter, and a friend. And then they found him at your house, not too far from the house on Truesdale. So who are you, and what is your relation to Mr. Rhea? And why was he hiding out at your house? And boy, like I said, you must feel awfully lucky he didn't do the same to you, because what you have to tell yourself, not ask yourself, is that you've been fooling around with somebody who was diabolical and had the propensity for violence, because he has a prior criminal record for violence against women, and then he murdered three women in cold blood, and it stipulates robbery was involved. So who are you in your relation to him? And what the hell you had him? Why was he living in your house? Because let's say he killed three, he could have easily done the same to you. And I know you have to be thinking about that right now. You'd have to be a fool if you didn't. And what is the motive behind the killing of the three women? As we state, they don't have a motive yet, but they're saying that it was robbery, aggravated robbery. So to me, that is a motive to kill somebody. Now, everybody that robs people don't kill their victims, but obviously he killed these three. This is crazy and nonsense to me. And as I state, what is the relationship between all the victims and the perpetrator? I want to give you all some information that I found on Facebook just a little while ago. On October 26, 2019, Juliana White's car was shot at. She has the pictures on Facebook showing the pictures and where she was shot. She didn't know if it was a random shooting, assault, or an attempt on her life. What I'm wondering is this Mr. Rhea behind that alleged shooting? Was it a gang initiation? Was somebody shooting at a car that they thought somebody else was in? Had somebody used her car before and they thought that was the person driving? She states that during this shooting, she was lucky to be alive. She was lucky to be alive. But as I state, now, 4.5 months later, she is gunned down, killed by someone that she obviously knew. So I'm wondering, are these two crimes linked? The October 26th incident of her car being shot at, and then now she's been murdered and dumped out like trash on a public street. What was the stake for all these people being murdered? I don't get it. I don't understand. Something is terribly missing. When you look at the pictures of her car that was shot, you'll see that on the driver's window, at the bottom of the window, there's a gun hole where a bullet went through. And next to that is the back door. And right under the window pane, under the plastic piece that separates both windows, front driver and back passenger driver, underneath that black piece of plastic is another bullet hole on the second door, back passenger, driver passenger door. She could have easily been killed in that car. Steering wheel was grazed. There's a window that was shattered, and it also looks like a front window was hit at the bottom of it on the passenger side in the corner of the windshield. A seat was hit with a bullet. These are the photographs that she has on Facebook. She says she didn't see her perpetrator, but she realized this person was gunning at her and shooting at her deliberately. And she states that her car was still left in the same spot where her car was shot. So what made the perpetrator take off? Did they shoot her to scare her? Why didn't they finish the job? And not to be disrespectful, but you understand what I'm saying, because you shot more than one time at the car, whoever you are. So you obviously wanted to inflict harm against the driver. So as I state, was this a random shooting? Somebody just out thinking they were having fun? Was she an aimed target? Or was this a drug initiation? Because, young men join gangs and they have them do all type of ferocious, facetious acts against mankind to prove their manhood into a gang. So I'm wondering, was this a gang initiation? But she felt like the person was coming for her, and she just did the best she could at that time. And as I state, she states in her Facebook post that her car was parked in the same place that it was shot at. And I'm just trying to figure out if she stopped her car, because she had to stop it naturally, why didn't the perpetrator finish shooting her car up, shooting her? You understand what I'm saying? She didn't get out. She didn't run. She didn't keep driving on where they could chase her on to the next location or whatever. So I find it interesting. Was this, as I state, a random shooting, gang initiation, someone trying to scare her, someone had a vendetta against her, someone's mad at her, someone's mad at people that she's affiliated with, hanging with? Because you got to think about the fact that they all knew this Rhea guy. And he don't look like he's up to par, and he don't look like he's about business. He looks grimy as hell, nappy-headed, a nappy-headed buffoon is what he looked like to me. I don't care, because they're dead, so I don't care nothing about how he looked in the picture. They said, well, you can't judge people. I can today, because he murdered 3 people. And then they're saying he endangered a child. So I can call it how I want. And today it's a spade. Quit playing. What was their relationship with this young boy? 24 years of age. What was he doing hanging around these older women and this 29-year-old girl for all 3 to end up dead? And the fact that she must have stopped her car at some point while being shot at, I don't know. I guess I'd kept driving till I burned the rubber off. But they always say, never say what you would do. But I don't know. Maybe she panicked out pulling over. I don't know. But she pulled off of Western Avenue on a side street, she said. And then someone who commented made a statement that similar incidents had taken place and that a carjacking had taken place the afternoon before her incident on Western Avenue in that general area. She also stated she realized she was being followed, but she never saw the person. She couldn't give an identification of the car tag, description of the person in the car. She didn't even say if they had tinted windows or what, but she saw the bullets discharged out of their weapon right at her. This is just a very wicked tale. So obviously, someone's were out terrorizing people in the Western Avenue area. It obviously made the news because one girl commented that she saw it on the news. I don't recollect hearing this story last year, but I didn't keep up with the news much the past year. Just through my news app, I would get breaking stories that were happening here in the general area. But nonetheless, someone, plural, was out chasing people around, shooting at their car, trying to carjack people. So that's why I said, was this just somebody out picking random people to terrorize, shoot at their car and or try to carjack them? And maybe that was the ploy. I'll shoot at the car, they'll pull over, I'll rob them. What? That's a dangerous thing to be doing anyway, just to be shooting at a car, period. I don't care if you know them, you're mad at them, or it's gang related, whatever. The chance that you could get caught, you could be identified, somebody could get your tag number. The police could be coming around the corner while you're shooting at this other person's car. You understand what I'm saying? This is serious business. And I pray they get to the bottom of why this fool murdered these 3 women, Millie and her friend and her daughter, and find out who was shooting at Juliana's car back in October 26, 2019. Someone shot at this young lady's car, and let me tell you, she had enough bullet holes in that car that could have caused someone in that car to be shot, dead, injured, and or she could have wrecked her car. She could have had her children in her car. She did leave behind 2 beautiful daughters. And the obituary states she had a husband. As I stated, I don't have any more information about the dynamics of that relationship, if it was, what was going on, if they were together or not, I don't know. But the point I'm making is that she could have had other participants in her car. She could have had other parties in her car. They could have been injured. Children panic, holler, scream. You're nervous because you're trying to get away from this persons shooting at you. She could have ran into a house, stop sign, pole, anything. But what are the odds of Juliana getting her car shot at multiple times, probably not too far from where her mother's house was with the roommate? And then 4.5 months later, your mother and her friend are gunned down right off of Western Avenue, because Truesdale is in a subdivision off of Western Avenue, and then they find you a couple of miles down the road, dumped off of Division Street. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Is this personal? Is this dude, that relationship with him caused Juliana to get shot back in October of 2019? And or now, fast forward a new year, he's geeked up, goofed up, peeled up. You know what I'm saying? Because young people are on that dope, pills, heroin, crack, all of that. Meth. They were easy mark, easy target. He attempted to rob him. He robbed him, got whatever he wanted, didn't get, I don't know, because they don't specify. But to murder all these people was unnecessary. But we know the game about murdering people that you rob. They kill you because they know you can identify them. And naturally, he's not going to want to go to jail for robbing these people in their house. But what is baffling is that he's killed 3 people, 2 in one location, 1 in another. So I never knew if Juliana lived at this said location with them or what, with her children. I've never got verification on that. But this is a baffling story of 3 women dead. Now the perpetrator has a 9-count indictment of also child endangerment. And they don't specify who the child is, where the child was, a previous battery charge, domestic violence against a woman, assault or whatever, and a drive-by shooting to a car 4.5 months previous before the deaths of these 3 women. And one of the women, Juliana, the daughter, 29-year-old, her car is shot up, and you don't hear anything else about. Was a suspect apprehended? Is that incident in correlation to the death of these 3 women currently? I'll keep you all posted, but this is sad to me. This is sad, and this is why I keep telling women, men too, you have to be very careful of the company you keep. You have to be very careful of the people you let into your home, people you let spend the night, people you loan things to, money, time, rides, going into their home, riding in their cars, meeting them places. troubled relationships, troubled courtships. Hey, can you meet me over here? Hey, can you meet me this one last time? Please answer the phone. You just don't know what people will do to you. And I'm going to tell you now, if you have a bad situation with a man, and when I mean bad, I mean bad. I mean, there is nothing to the relationship. The person has been violent towards you, mistreated you, physically abused you. You have no reason to go meet that person or talk to that person once they've cut you off, because you don't know the mindset of a person, period. If they've already been violent with you, what makes you think they won't put you 6 feet under? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because that one last time I just got to talk to you. I need to see you. Can I come by? I'm looking for you. You can't do this to me. Yeah. Honey, let them keep calling. Don't go talk to them. Don't meet them. Be on your P's and Q's. If you're allowed to get a weapon in your state, I advise that you do so. I advise you to make every attempt to keep the police in the loop of any threatening messages, phone calls, stalking, visiting, stopping by jobs, other friends' homes, family members' homes, threats to other people. You need to keep it all documented and recorded, because you're going to need it for the day you pump one in them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, began just keeping it 100. This state is a state where if you exact harm against me, you got to do it inside this door. It can't be outside. It can't be on the porch. It can't be on the lawn. It can't be back behind the house. I got to lay you down right here. And that's why I'm saying you need to be prepared. If you're dealing with somebody crazy and or you've cut them off, you need to know you're going to have to handle your business inside your domain, not outside. Now, anything can happen, but that's why I said you need proof and verification that you have had problems with a said man, person, stalking, harassment. Because in case you have to defend yourself, you're going to need that so you don't get yourself indicted. Keeping it real. Prayers to the Blackwell family, the White family, Miss Rogers family. A mother, a daughter, and a friend gunned down, murdered. Robberies involved. For now, I don't know anything else. But this is sad. 2 beautiful girls left behind without a mother, grandmother. All for what? Some mangy mutt. Probably a drug addict, wanting to get high. Had an easy target. And indeed he did. But what he don't know is, he don't know pain and suffering till he crossed to the other side. You understand what I'm saying? Prayers and condolences to these families. God bless all of you. Please stay safe out there. Stay warm. Stay clean. Keep your hygiene up. Prayer for all those who are afflicted and sick, those who passed away. Be mindful. Be respectful to others. And not just because it's Corona, but because you should want to be more kind to people, more thoughtful to people. Because right now we have some ignorant people navigating the globe with no regard for other people and their livelihood. But this just goes to show you this is who they were anyway when there was no Corona. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. Until the next video, bye-bye.